starts with defining the outcomes that are required by the various stakeholders. You know what stakeholders means? Employers, employees, students, alumni students, etc. And it starts with the three outcomes. One is program educational objectives, and second one is program outcomes, and third one course outcome is subject or student learning outcome or expected outcome. There are various nomenclatures are there. Either it could be expected outcome or course outcome or student learning outcome. I think these are all similar. Okay. The most of the experts are sometimes raising the doubt whether it is same or not. So both all are same. Expected course outcomes, expected outcomes, or student learning outcomes. So now the program educational objective, the graduate should have after 5 years working in the industry. How to refine the or define the program educational objectives means I need to take the data, 5 years data. Once he completed his course, then he will join in organization. After the 5 years means then we can extract much more information for framing in a well mannered. So otherwise that will be, I think, not much useful for the system. Program outcomes and course outcomes. POs are desirable graduate attributes at the time of graduation, while COs are the skill learned by the students at the end of each course in the program. CO means at every semester, each course, and PO means after completion of the graduation. So this is what PO, program. The program outcomes you can define for the branch wise, and course outcomes you can define on the basis of course, means subject wise. This is. Let us see here, I have shown some diagrammatical representation. So this means broader to narrow, but looking the small, the style of diagram might be, it is narrow to broader, but you see that broader to narrow. So first we need to define a vision, and then mission, which is if it is university college, they have to take the university mission and college mission, and then program mission and program goals. Program goals are nothing but here you need to consider as a program educational objectives, and then on the basis of program educational objectives you need to redefine or define the program outcomes based on the program educational objectives. Then based on the program outcomes you have to define the course outcomes, and again you can focus in the micro level also. That is what micro level, each course has a n number of units, you can concentrate much on the unit wise also, but I think this could be very difficult to do it as of now, but at least we have to do up to this level. Go ahead. So this is what we need to do it. So let us see vision. What is vision? I think you see that. How to frame the vision. Vision is a picture of the future. So that means you also might be having, I also might be having some vision. So I should get some recognition international, that is my vision, like that. So like everyone has some vision. So that is what it is showing, it is saying the future of that program or maybe that college. And it has to create and describe, always it is the present tense, because of when you are defining the vision, that could be for the next 10 or 20 years only. So that you should be make it in the present tense only, that statement, present tense only. Then it shows what it is showing, that is what, where we want to go, where we want to go. This point also has to highlight in the vision. And next, what we will be like when we get there. So this is what these four components are, I think, playing the key role in a vision. Apart from this, you can add some more components also. Like this, you can frame the vision, I think. So this is only sample I have given. You can add some more components, not only restrict to these components, because of everyone has their own vision. So they can frame by their their resources also sometimes. If I don't have such kind of resources, then how do I frame? That is what, with the available resources I should frame the vision, otherwise it could be difficult to sustain and improve also. Next, mission, you see that. Mission is what statement defines what an institution is, why the institution exists, and its reason for being. You see that we are here to together. So this is what you see, that you can see that difference also in the next slide. Easy to find, this is what you see there. So but little maybe you can argue, but as of my knowledge, as of my I interacted with the different people, then I have collected this information. This you can argue also, but there is no what about standard difference for this. Just for understanding purpose, I have taken this information. What is this? Why? Mission is what's the mainly? Why? So that means indirectly motivating. So when the mission is not there, then I will get some doubt. Why should I join in that institute? There it is showing some information, that is what, and vision is what? What? So this is, and the definition you see that. What about vision is like a snapshot, and this is what statement by statement. You see that vision is one sentence or two sentences maximum, but mission is you can make it as a 3, 4, 5 statements also. That is what you can do. So what we have been, I think our Mr. Shravan also has been gone through that vision and mission of our SIT. In that you can see outside also it is there like this. And a short length is what is the mission is a short statement, might be very small, but vision is long. Then purpose is what? It is informing what you have to do, how to achieve the vision. By vision only I can achieve the vision. Without vision I could not achieve the vision. That is what. So that we need to frame the vision. And activity means what? Vision means it is saying you do something. Vision means you see there, but you do means something you need to do it. By doing you can reach that, you can achieve that, you can go there. This is what. And effect, this is what clarifies, and vision is challenges. These are the differences between mission and vision. So you can define as your requirement only, but no need to copy from anybody. So that means, but it has to get some reflection in the world. Okay. So vision and mission of the department. You know that college vision and college mission also. Next, what I need to do it? I have to define the vision for the department and mission also. It is correlated with the vision and mission of the institution. When I have visited colleges as an expert, when I have gone through that college vision and department vision, both are same. But how it could be same? College is broad, program is narrow. So you need, it is the vision, department vision is nothing but a subset of a set of college vision only. So you should try to extract from the college vision, not to put it as it is. When you are putting as it is, then what about your vision? So that we should try to extract from that only. That means we have to think much on that. It is more focused on the theme of the department. Suppose it is a computer science, you have to focus mainly on the computer skills, or electrical like. You have to focus majorly on the respective department. It may be created based on the, and you need to create on the basis of SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. So first you have to identify all these 4 components, and then you try to build a vision. This is the evidence, because of the NBA evaluators is looking all these documents, how you have been defined this. By whatever looking this information, they can understand, oh, they have done some exercise. So that was evidence for the framing of this. So this is what we need to do. And then mission statement might be include. We have to include some information, history, philosophy of academic, and apart from that, as you wish, you can add some more content. This is what you say. Type of students served, environment, faculty, curriculum, contributions to the and connection with the community. These 2 components are very, very important. Even Government of India is insisting to the industry. So they have to give it back to the system, community, means public something. Because of that, they have started one affirmative program also that was introduced by the Government of India. Then again the TCS has taken over that. Now they are conducting affirmative programs for the rural area SC/ST students. That means there is some condition in that. Because of that only, otherwise it could be difficult to come back to the public, the industry. So next, the mission of the department, you see that. How to frame the mission, you see that. So we are focusing mainly 3 components: You can add one more component also, please. This is not restricted. So this is only for the primary information I am providing here. Components of program mission statement. Program mission statement, please be careful. Primary functions, you see that. Most important functions, operations, outcomes, operings of the program. These points you have to highlight it in a mission. And next, purpose. Primary reasons when you perform your major activities or operations. By taking example, you can understand very easily. In the next slide, there will be example also how to frame that. And stakeholders. So these three components have to reflect in the mission statement. This is very important, sir. You can frame like a statement by statement. 4, 5, 6 statements also. You can use it as a mission. This is what. Next, you see the mission. So I have given some template. You can take it granted, or you can add some more thing. You see the mission. Next, the program name has to reflect. The program name has to reflect here. The mission, B.TECH CSC program or B.TECH EEE program or any other kind of program is take it. And is to your primary purpose. What is the purpose of that program? Primary purpose. That has to reflect in the mission. By providing, by what you are going to, what about how you are going to achieve that? By activities. To how, to whom you are going to, what about this mission, this program, to whom? That is also very important. To whom? And apart from this, you can add some more statements also. So you see in the below, with the respective color, you see that you can find the mapping also, one-to-one mapping. Then easy to understand. This is what you see that the mission of the B.TECH Computer Science and Engineering. If you are electrical, then you can take it B.TECH Electrical Engineering, and is to prepare students for employment in various computer science related areas. So you can take it here is what's electrical engineering. So instead of this. So next, educating them in the fundamental concepts. I think these are common to any engineering course. So fundamental concepts, knowledge and laboratory or fields, techniques and skills, computing techniques for computing industries. These are the, we are providing skill set for the computing industries by conducting various activities with the help of system. This is what sample mission statement with respect to the department. Like this, you can define or you can frame the mission statement. This is only sample. If you want to add some more things, you can add. This is what, how to frame the mission statement for the department. This is what. Okay. Next, so now you know how to frame the vision, mission. Next, coming to the point as for the hierarchy, this is what the designing process is a top-down approach and the implementation process is a bottom-up approach. It is a combination of top-down and bottom-up only. So first I have to design the system. That means what? First I have to define vision, mission, program educational objectives, program outcomes, course outcomes. This is top-down approach. Then again I have to verify it by going back. This is what? Course outcomes to program outcomes to PEOs, PEOs to mission, mission to vision, whether I have achieved or not. This is what the process of the OBE system. That means top-down and bottom-up approach. So you see. So next, the program educational objectives are broad statements. These are the broad statements only. Program outcomes means narrow statements. So this is what program outcomes are, subset of the PEOs only. Subset of the PEOs only, or whatever it is. Broad statements that describe the career and professional accomplishments that the program is preparing graduates to achieve. So this is what. PEOs should be accessible and realistic within the context of the committed resources. Committed resources. I have to test in my system what are the resources I have. If I don't have the resources, how do I frame the program educational objectives? How do I achieve that? It could be difficult. What are the resources I have in surrounding of my system? Then only I have to frame the program educational objectives. If I have in my mind very good thoughts, but I could not able to implement for that, I should think about resources also. Then only it could be possible to achieve. Otherwise, it is a meaningless system. So this is what. Next, while framing the PEOs, the following factors are to be considered. This is the evidence. How to provide the evidence also is very important. How to provide the evidence means that I'll give little information later. The PEOs should be consistent with the mission of the institution and the department. So the PEOs I have to derive from the mission of the department and institute also. The PEOs. So when I have visited some of the colleges, what they have defined, the PEOs are different with the mission statement, no correlation. But I could not give the guarantee exact correlation. At least relevancy, you try to make a relevancy. At least 80% or 70% or 60% relevancy is good. But we could not achieve 100%, no doubt about it. So that we should try to make that up to 80% better, 60 to 80% relevancy. Even Google search engine is also, it is unable to provide 100% relevant information. It is able to providing only 60 to 80% information only. So like that, here also we have to try to map it between the two things. Next, all the stakeholders should participate in the process of framing POs. How they could participate? They are in different locations. But what we need to do? We need to form bodies, various bodies. What? Alumni society body, alumni body, and employees body, and the employees body. Like you conduct meetings at various places. Then you can get the information by taking the feedback from them. That you can make it as the evidence to that and be evaluator. Next, the number of POs should be manageable. Most of the people might be having some doubt. Should I take it 4 POs or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8? No limitation, no restriction. But for the easy understandable purpose, what we need to do, we need to take it minimum 4 and up to 9 also could be acceptable, the range. We can define 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 also. But as per our NBA criteria, they are saying what? Only 5 or 4. But you can divide as many as you wish. But you need to justify it. That is very important. With evidence. That is what? It is a common sense only. Convince. Next, it should be based on the needs of the stakeholders. When I am framing POs, I have to think what industry is expecting from us. What industry is expecting? How do I know that? By collecting the feedback, by conducting the various meetings at various places, with various bodies. So this is what I need to take. So next, it should be specific to the program and not too broad. When I visited one college, what they are saying, sir, we conducted for the college, that feedback we have taken for the framing of the POs to my department. How it could be possible? They maybe belongs to EEE or maybe ECE or some other discipline, you see that. So what I need to do, I should conduct for my department some meeting. Then only you can get accurate information. Otherwise, it is vague information, easy to find, vague. That is what. It should not be too narrow. It should not be too narrow and similar to the POs. Because one more stage is there. What is another stage? Another stage is POs. That is a little narrow. So that also have to derive from the POs. So that it should be broader only. So this is how to frame is. These are the steps are required for framing of the POs. Next, for example, the POs of an academic program might read like this. You see that. Statement of areas of fields in which the graduates find employment. This point we have to highlight in the POs. Where he is going to find employment. Preparedness of graduates to take up higher studies. These two are very, very important components. And the third component recently added, that is ethical and human values. Otherwise, we could not survive in the society. The POs are reviewed periodically based on feedback of the program's various stakeholders. So I think POs could be reviewed after 5 years or 6 years or 7 years also. Better, I think. POs means every year better to review it. Because once the graduate over, then for the next graduate, you try to review it, refine it. This is what. Next, as for the NBA concern, they have taken the POs broadly as 4 components. As 5 components. They have defined as like attributes, means keywords, core competence and breadth, preparation, next professionalism, learning environment. So these are the 5 components. Why should I follow this kind of pattern? or this kind of fashion, I can go ahead with my fashion also. Why should I follow like this only? If I have a confidence, I can define into the 9 also. These things I can divide 9 also, or 8, or 6, or 3. But minimum is 4 good always. But less than that, it could not be good. So this is what you see, that what they have been provided in the NBA book. So I think all these things is available. You see, core competence, to provide students with a solid foundation in mathematical. This is first year course syllabus. That is relevant to the first year only anyhow. Next breadth, you see that, you see. Then analyze what I have been discussed in the previous session, that is what high order skills. This is what second point is. What about much concentration on the high order skills. Next, preparation, you see that. For the competitive examinations and other examinations also, higher studies preparation. Next, professionalism. So be like a member in the society, you should, what about, follow some rules and regulations or maybe ethical values, you see that. And mentor, how it could be achieved by participating as a member in the team, so that we need to encourage them to do the many more projects, not by taking the classes, not by introducing the subject in the curriculum. Without introducing in the curriculum, that could be possible to achieve. How it could be achieved means, by forming as a group, you need to conduct several events by the help of that students. Then there could be possible to achieve all these things. Multidisciplinary approach, ability to relate engineering issues, broader social context also. And learning environment, to provide student with an academic environment with awareness of excellence, leadership, and the lifelong learning needed for a successful professional career. So what we need to do? We have to suggest them, oh, after 20 years, these are the benefits do you have if you go in this line. If you say that means, definitely you will go ahead with the lifelong learning. If you say next immediately you will get this one, that means short-term goal. So you should try to, what about, convince them there is a future for you after 20 years if you go. That means then only you will apply lifelong learning. Otherwise, what you will do? You will try to apply the short-term goals only. So that is what you should think about. Next, program educational objectives. Program educational objectives. Achievement of POs, you see that. There should be enough evidence and documentation to show the achievement of POs as set by the institution with the help of the assessment and evaluation process that have been developed. So there is some evidence when I was framed the POs. With the basis of that evidence, then I should derive what? A program outcomes. So this is what you see. Also show that this continuous process leads to refinement and improvement of POs. This will be, without evaluation, you could not improve. The program outcomes are narrower statements, but what I have said, the POs are little broader, POs are little narrower. So this means a subset of that. Which one? The PO. That describes what students are expected to know and be able to do by the time of graduation. What industry is expecting from us, whether the student can able to perform or not once you get an opportunity in my company. That is what they are thinking. So that now you see that everyone is getting opportunity in industry with B.TECH or with BSc, with diploma, with intermediate, with fail or fake degree also. You see now the system, because of they are able to do it. What is they want? They want only capabilities, not the degrees. In future maybe with the 10th class also they may recruit some of the people for some of the activities, no doubt about it. I think the days will come, no doubt. So this is what they can get anyhow degree. Next, what about, already the government of India has been introduced the system of the private universities, no doubt about it. In the coming year, maybe they are going to introduce more than 15 or 20 universities, private universities. Once those universities will come, then what? With the 10th class also I can get something definitely. What about? Easy. Then if they are able to capable, they will go for the only alternate, only for the purpose of degree only they will try to take the admission. Otherwise, nothing, no use of that. Even myself also, I did my M.TECH for the sake of to get opportunity in the university or maybe in the engineering only with the MCA. MCA syllabus and M.TECH syllabus both are same. I think MCA syllabus is better than M.TECH also sometimes. But even though I did my M.TECH, why? For the sake of rules and regulations has been adapted by the AICTE. For that only I did my M.TECH. Otherwise, no use. So this is what happening now. So next, these relate to the skills, knowledge and behavior. They are able to getting much more than analytical people also sometimes. You see that sometimes the industry is looking for the average people only. Why? They have a much more than higher percentage students, what the analytical capabilities. So that is what. Whoever is having much analytical capabilities, I think they could not get 100 to 100. No doubt about it. Maybe between 70 to 80 or 85 maybe. So this is what. Because they have to concentrate on other activities. How it could be possible to achieve everything. In all the domains, how to achieve 100%. So you need to divide as many as. So this is what that system. Next, skills, you see that. Skills students use in managing, but these are the steps, these are the components we have to satisfy. What are the components? One is knowledge, skills, attitudes. Based on these three parameters, you have to define the program outcomes with respect to the POs. This is what we have to concentrate much. Skills students use in managing and applying their knowledge, such as a computation, experimentation, analysis, synthesis, design, evaluation, communication, leadership, and teamwork. You see that. These things we have to focus. So at this point, you can make it as many as subdivisions also. When you are framing the program outcomes, what about graduate will be able to lead the team? That is the one program outcome. Graduates will be able to, what about manage the system, like that is my own parameter system, but you can define as you wish with a better way also, no doubt, by taking these keywords. But these keywords has to reflect where in the program outcomes. You can frame as you wish. So that is what. And attitudes that dictate the goals toward which their knowledge and skills will be directed, personal values, concerns, preferences, and biases. You see that. This is attitude is also very important, bias or unbiased, now you know that. So that. Next, NBA, just I'll go through simply because of it is anyhow available. Some more slides are there, another, that's why. NBA graduate attributes of UG engineering program are as follows. So NBA has defined something, but why should I take the same thing? Suppose tomorrow if I want to go for the ABET, then what? They have their own format. NBA has a own format, NAC has a own format, and other system might be having own format. So what we need to do, first we have to define our POs program outcomes. What about whenever I want to go for the ABET or NBA or anything, I should maybe correlate with that. Otherwise, no use of that. Again, I have to go for the refining of that. That could be not good. You need to make it a generic POs and POs for any accreditation. This is what we need to do. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in the next 2-3 years, I think already VIT has got the international accreditation. And some other institutes also might be have got the international accreditation. So that when you want to go in that direction, because of already the government of India has been introduced to the system, they can form their own universities. Once the university has come up, then what? Everybody will try to go for the ABET only. Now the people are moving in the direction of the NBA. Next, the next level people will try to go for the. You see that when I got the MCA, then what I did, M.TECH. Again what I did, PhD. Again what I did, again. Like you see that what we are doing, similarly there also the process might be there. So that what we need to do, we need to define in a generic way for any accreditation, not only specifically for the NBA. So you try to define, not only to this. Here they have defined 12 program outcomes, but everybody is talking about the program outcomes, 12 number. But the number is no limitation, no restriction. You can divide as many as you wish, I told you already. You can divide into 17 also, 20 also program outcomes, specifically. No restriction. But you have to cover what the main components are there in the NBA. Beyond that, you can frame. That is what they are asking. Engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design or development of solutions, conduct investigations of complex problems, like they have taken 12 attributes. Okay. Next, modern tool, I think I'll explain with the example with the program name is information technology. There you can get little bit more easy to understand. But here is what only I am discussing about how to frame the POs and POs. There we will get the little idea about that, how to map it, how to correlate, how to make it matrix representation. This is what we will discuss in the next. The engineer and society, environment and sustainability, ethics, individual and teamwork, communication. Why you see that they have made it as a separately communication only? You can combine with the other component also, or you can mix with other component, whatever it is, as you wish, you can make it as many as you can read, but minimum is 12 they are saying. Every accreditation body, they are suggesting you better to go for minimum 12 program outcomes. But maximum is 17, 18, 19 also could be acceptable. Project management and finance, lifelong learning. When I was interacted with some of the experts, lifelong learning is very important. But that you can mix it in another component also. No need to put it as a separate component, please. But somewhere it has to reflect, that's all. But when I am discussing, when I was interacting with people, what they are saying, no, that is a separate. No, not a separate. You can, what about mix with others also? That is what, otherwise. But you have to justify for that. Lifelong learning in the broadcast context of technological change. So maybe today this technology, tomorrow maybe another technology. If I don't have such kind of attitude, then how do I sustain in the world in the future? If I don't have a lifelong learning capabilities, then I could not able to sustain in the world. So for the sake of that, you need to insist them, please better to go. And program outcomes. What the NBA has been decided, program outcomes 1 through 12. 12 attributes have defined. Now you can add, as per your vision and mission, POs. So you need not restrict to those attributes only. Your vision might be different. NBA already has taken some vision that might be different. But how do you take it all only that 12 only? You need to add, because of your vision might be different with the NBA vision, then it is a different with that. Then how do you take it as it is? As it is. It is not correct. So you add some more program outcomes to the NBA program outcomes with respect to the mission and vision only, the POs. You see, now the define the outcomes begin with the action verbs. You need to try to define the program outcomes with the following some of the keywords I have mentioned. Not only these keywords, if you feel some other keywords are there, those keywords also you can use for framing of the program outcomes. Define, calculate, estimate, outline. So you see that our paper, question paper also, but what we need to do, we are expecting from the student when we are framing the question paper setting, then what? We should try to apply the program course outcome pattern only. Otherwise we could not extract much more than what we have right now. So these are the verbs you can use it, sir. And mapping POs to POs, you see that. How does one develop program objectives and program outcomes? There is some little confusing between POs and POs. What is that confusing? I think you see that second exam statement. Is this chicken and egg type of question, you know that? Whether chicken has come from this or that? This is the doubt, but not like that. No. The program outcomes derive from the program objectives. So what I said earlier, it is a top-down approach. When it is a top-down approach, why I have a doubt? Again, I don't want to create another confusing. So that it is a top-down approach. When it is a top-down approach, you should try to derive from the program objectives. Next, POs must foster attainment of POs. When you are defining the POs, you should take care about that. You should think about the POs also, not only mission and vision. Already, POs have been defined with respect to the two upper levels. Next, POs with respect to the POs. This is what system. And there is a hierarchy to the process, and it is a top-down process that begins with the program objectives. It begins with the program objectives only, top-down process. You see, mapping POs to POs, just I have given a year template. In the next session, we will discuss with a good example, no doubt, just for understanding purpose you have. You see that here, the mapping could be, either it could be one to many. Some POs might be maybe relevant to PO1, PO2, PO3, PO4 also. That means one to many, or many to one, or many to many also sometimes. But many to many not possible for everything, but first two may be easy to applicable everywhere. So this is what sir is saying. One to many, or many to one, or many to many. You can say this. This is the matrix correlation matrix representation. How to map it, that we'll discuss later by taking curriculum. That could be very useful for the affiliated colleges. What I have taken example. So very, very useful for the affiliated or maybe under the umbrella of some other body. Now case studies, you see that. I have taken case studies, a vision, how I have written, you see that, for the department. We provide society with people serving and problem solving professionals in computer engineering. So you can change also. Instead of the computer engineering, you can add electrical engineering, and if you feel uncomfortable with this, then you can add one more 2-3 words also, no problem. But vision has to show. Society is very, very important in the vision and stakeholders. Mission is see that to provide our society with a high quality professionals, having a strong education in computer engineering, with rich cultural, ethical, you see that what are the words I have been highlighted with the coloring, you see that these are the important keywords, those words has to reflect in the mission, and then that could be having much meaning. You see that critical thinking, entrepreneurial skills and computing problems also, you see that. These are the, instead of computing, you can take it another branch, but you can add with relevant to your curriculum sometimes. Because of you are following as per the given by the university curriculum, so that you should try to understand first curriculum also when you are framing sometimes. But sometimes you need to redefine. Program educational objectives. You see that now here I have been. Earlier what I have given? 5 units. Now you see that you can see here another example I have given here. How many program educational objectives? Like NBA has given some pro forma, but here is my own pro forma. Somebody has given this, that template I have taken here. This is what? Program educational objectives. Graduates. The word is very important. Graduates will, word is. Because of the program means what? Once if you get a degree, then he is a graduate. Once if he is in the course, then he is the student only. So that when you are framing the program educational objectives or program outcomes, you should use the word graduate only. When you are framing the course outcomes, there you have to use the word is what? Student. There is a lot of confusing this. Because of when he is doing the course, that means what? He is a student. When he go out, then he is a graduate. So these two are what? So like graduates will address the challenges that they will face in their careers. You see that. This is one object I have given as my interesting. With respect to the what I have given earlier, mission and vision, you see that. Next, lifelong learning and continue to develop their problem solving skills. You see in the previous mission also it is there, problem solving skills, okay, that has to reflect. Some relevancy, but I should not get an exact relevancy surplus. You try to make it up to 80%, 50 to 80%, or maybe sometimes 0 to 80% also some of the things when you are mapping, trying to mapping the PO to PO. That exhibit leadership and team building skills. Next, provide quality service to the profession, government and society. Function as effective members of interdisciplinary teams. Apply current and innovative engineering technologies and criteria. Like you see that I have defined only 6. Earlier what the NBA has given 5. Now you see that I have given 6. Like you can add some more with respect to your vision and mission. This is what's it. Next, program outcomes. This is a bit. But what we have seen earlier, that is NBA. You see, they have their own format. So that what my suggestion is always, you try to make it a generic only. Otherwise, it could be difficult to, again, to map it to that, this, that. So that is very difficult process. So that now the India is also looking for the integration of all these things. They are trying to making as a unified format, but that could be very difficult to, what about integration of all these bodies? I think no relation between the one body to another body. So that is a major problem in India now. When he was what about Minister of Higher Education, the Kapil Sibal, he was insisted, why don't you make all these bodies as a single umbrella? But again, there was a lot of controversy for this, so that again, I think the bill also might be passed in the Parliament. But that is a Higher Education Commission, I think the bill also passed. Still, NB also they are trying to making as a mandatory from the next year, I think, for every college. The bill, I think it is in pending in the Rajya Sabha, maybe very soon it will be clear also, maybe this mandatory of the NBA, not Higher Education Commission. Higher Education, I think, clear already. And so you see that they have defined various outcomes with respect to their scenario. You see that. I don't want much to discuss about this. I think similar to what we discussed in the. You see here, J is there. How many are here? 3, 5, 9, 11. So that is, you can define as you wish, sir. Now, you see the teaching learning process. This is very important in this. Guide the learner. We have to guide learner. We don't want to maintain the distance. When we are maintaining the distance, sir, then means there is a lot of gap. How do we fill the gap between industry and academia? So that is very important. But with the limitations only. The distance means with the limitations. Be sure that students know the POs, curriculum and assessment process also. We have to exhibit POs. Where we have to exhibit? There are various options are there. You can display notice board, or you can put it in a website, or you can give it as a handbook also. But this is very important from the next academic year. Otherwise, so that is what POs, curriculum, assessment process also. What process we are going to apply for the assessing of the each and every student. Next, develop a structured hierarchy of content. You see that content needs to include concepts, applications, and problem solving. Teacher has to do these things. Use images and visual learning also. As possible as use the images. That means picture is 100 times or 1000 times better than the content. No doubt about it. That is, we studied in the information visualization technique. You see that wherever you see the hoardings, most of the hoardings are reflecting with images only, not by content. You see that. So because of it has that much of importance, we should try to use the images and visual learning technique. Ensure that the student is active. We should ensure that. Requires practice. Practice is very important. Just not to teach and come out. Practice also very important. So that tutorial classes have been introduced but not properly implementing. Provide a feedback. Feedback is also very important, not to simply to teach. And have positive expectations of students. That is, individual. Finally, what I am suggesting, it is their own style. Okay? You may not follow, but better if you could add this also, then you could become a good teacher, no doubt. Make the classroom more cooperative. When we are entering into the classroom, then what? Please, then what we are restricting them. But that is not correct. Sometimes we have to restrict, sometimes we have to give the liberalization also. Make the class more cooperative. Ask thought-provoking questions also. Next, like you see that many are there. I think you are also better than me. So you can go ahead that. Okay. Encourage students to teach other students. This is very important, sir. Encourage students to teach other students. This is what major point. Continuous improvement of program, sir. There are two loops are there. I think they have been adapted two loops. One is outer loop and other one is inner loop. Inner loop means I think already we have that process, but they have been taken some nomenclature. That is what strategic plan is there for every college. That is what outer loop. We have internal auditing cell also. That is what inner loop. But not proper accounting. We have to maintain the accounting information for everything. Then it could be possible to achieve the goal. That's what here we discussed. Initial input comes from stakeholders. So we are neglecting stakeholders generally. What we have idea in my mind, then we are framing the things, but not correct. We have to interact with the different stakeholders, then there could be possibility to come out with fruitful information. That is what NBA guidance or EBET guidance or any other guidance and university level directives. These inputs are used to refine and monitor program objectives and outcomes. These are the very helpful for monitoring of. This is what I have defined the program educational objectives, program outcomes. Then how do I retest it? By interacting stakeholders only, whether I am able to achieve or not. This is what. So that the feedback system has introduced. Because after session is over, then we are taking feedback generally. For what? For the purpose of continuous improvement only. Otherwise, no improvement. So like inner loop also here it is there. I think not much discussing. This system you see that. What is the assessment evaluation system? You see that. Evaluation. You see scheduled intervals, internal input, exit interviews, feedback from academic advisors, feedback from succeeding course in the sequence, feedback from capstone design and external input, alumni, employee advisory board. You see that how many colleges have been taking the information like this way? I think not more than single digit. This is what happening. So that we are not able to fill the gap between industry and academia. Always we are thinking how to fill the gap, how to fill the gap. When we are not following the certain system, then how to fill it? Not by by introducing some course or maybe some system. Then not. First, we have to try to implement what the system we have right now. Then it could be automatically possible to fill the gap between the industry and academia. This is what. So instructor course assessment, even instructor course assessment also is important. Student course assessment. So like all these components can be put together as will be helpful for the evaluation of the program. Evaluation of the program. This is what. Then again you can assessment, improvement of planning. After evaluation, you can think about that what are the still weaknesses are there. On the basis of weaknesses, you can try to refine the existing POs or POs or any other thing if it is there. Vision or vision. Vision means for every, so I think 10 to 20 years. But mission, you can wait every year also or 2 years. So now course outcomes, you see that. Course outcomes are statements that describe what students are expected to know. Students expected to know. Attitudes they are expected to hold and what they are able to do. These three are very important, sir. What is their attitude and what they know and how they are able to do that. These three parameters are very important. We have to focus on that. How do I test it this? How do I test it? You need to give some assignment, you need to give some problem, you need to give some project, you need to give something. On the basis of all these things, then he can able to find whether he is extracted the information or not much from teacher. Result of taking a course. Assessment not only measures progress and achievement of the learners, but also the effectiveness of the teaching materials and methods used for the transaction. So this is what. Hence, assessment should be viewed as a component of curriculum with the twin purpose effective delivery and for various delivery methods are there. So what we are, I think right now following, just we are taking the class and going out. But what is the international mobility system is saying? You try to introduce a minimum 5 delivery methods. One is to teach, second one is to form the groups and make a group discussion, and then to give a presentation to the each and every student chance, and he can divide as many as. These are the methods for the content delivery, not only by taking the class. Even in the absence of you can give it assignment to them, they can do by themselves. That is what I have said, some program educational objective, that is what. Encourage the students to teach to other students. This is what. Why we have to send them out? Maybe something. This is you can introduce. Outcomes assessment in the form of how to assess the outcomes in the form of standardized exams. Prerequisite exams, that means you know that how they are getting the admission. Prerequisite exams, ISET or MSET or other sets are there. These are there. Mid-sessional exams, comprehensive final exams, laboratory exams, written reports, oral presentations, etc. You have to take many more. But now what we are doing? Only internal exam, final exam. But that two are not sufficient. So we do. And provide possible means of demonstrating that the chosen performance thresholds defined by the program outcomes are met. So what the threshold? You have to fix the threshold, whether they are able to achieve that threshold or not. Where we have defined the threshold? In the program outcomes. How do I write a learning outcomes? You see that. How to write a learning outcomes. Many of the people doesn't know how to write a learning outcomes, but here I think some of the people may know better than me, even though I want to say this. How do I write a learning outcomes? There are 5 levels generally. What I have discussed in the previous session, total higher order and low order skills. So we need to keep in our mind, then we should try to put it all these things: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, evaluation and synthesis. You see that all these things we need to keep it in mind, and then he is able to apply, can able to perform, can able to demonstrate, can you have to put it all these things, sir. Analyze, evaluating, creativity. You see that. Examples of learning outcome verbs for library instruction. You see that. Knowledge, remembering, instead of this. Define, list, recognize. These are the words we have to use when you are writing the outcomes. Okay. Course outcomes means subject outcomes, means paper outcomes, whatever it is, nomenclature might be using, I don't know that. Next, characterize for comprehension purpose. Describe explain, identify. Still here also some of the weak things are there. Explain word I think not good. Explain means what should I explain? So this word please as this I have taken from somewhere so that they might be used this. In some other author might be that was commented in a negative aspect. Next, application. Whatever it is, choose, demonstrate, implement, perform. Like you see that analysis and other things also you see this, all this. Okay. How to write so the course outcomes by using these words. Better to use as possible as these words only. And you see that how to write learning outcomes means verbs to avoid. You try to avoid when you are writing the course outcomes. Understand. What understand? What? Whether the limitation, whether the advantages, whether the disadvantages, whether the process, whether what? I understand. So that as possible as to remove these. Appreciate. What? Next, know about. What know about? It is broad. So that is what course means. It is very narrow. We are coming from the macro to micro. Macro to micro. When we are moving in the macro, then again if you are taking the macro, then what is the use of program outcomes? So that you should try to make it as in a micro way. Become familiar with, learn about, become aware of these words as possible as to avoid for the writing of course outcomes, please. You see differences, learning outcomes and learning objectives. You know that course objectives, learning objectives also. So it is not universally recognized, sir. What the people are saying, I have referred several expert papers, then finally they concluded there was no any among the learning objectives and learning outcomes. Much, only micro difference. It is not universally recognized, and many experts may find that the term learning outcomes describes what they have already understood by the term learning objectives. Okay. Next, some scholars make no distinction. What about you say that between the two terms, those who do usually suggest that learning outcomes are a subset or a type of learning objective. This is a subset of objective only. So this is what we have to differentiate ourselves. Then what that we'll get it by table. The next slide. Learning objective, you see that it is outline the material, the instructor, what the teacher is going to teach, that he can make it as a objective also. I think now we are following that in the traditional education system. Intends to cover or the disciplinary questions the class will address. Then what we are writing the topic to be covered, that also we can consider like a objectives also, but you need a little polishing is required for that. That could be become about learning objectives. Learning outcome, what the student should know and realize be able to do by the end of the assignment, activity, class or course, you see that. So we need to test after the completion of the course what the student is able to do it. On the basis of that we need to assess, you see that. Learning outcomes versus learning objectives, you see that. For this reason, learning outcomes often start with a version of the phrase. By the end of this course, you see that. What I have said for the framing of the program of outcomes, there I said what? Graduate. Now we see that here, because of we are focusing on the course outcomes. When we are focusing on the course outcomes, students will be able to do so and so, will be able to do so and so. Or students ability, like you have to start the sentence, it is a good manner. Or you can use your own sentences also. You see that learning objective means what? Describe what a teacher needs to teach. Describes what a teacher needs to teach and what needs to be planned to teach. And now we have a system in the course register. That is what. Next, learning outcomes. Describe what students demonstrate upon the completion of the course. Once the course is completed, then how they are able to demonstrate. Next example, you see that. Students will understand the concept of X and Y in respective domain. But what the learning outcome is what? When I know the 3-4 concepts, among those concepts, which is the relevant concept for the given specific problem that I have to what about identify as a student, that is outcome. When I should not able to identify which is the relevant technique for the respective the problem, then that is no use of the concept. So this is what is telling differences between the learning objectives and learning outcomes. This is, you see now I said a top down approach and bottom up approach. You see here top down means program mission and then followed by POs, then followed by Follow, you see that POs and curriculum courses, COs. Then you see that bottom-up approach, implementation. CO to POs, POs to POs, POs to mission. This is easy to understand. I have one example. This is what up now top-down process only completed. The next part will be there. That is what bottom-up process. That is you see now. Prepare step 1. You see that. Prepare POs that address program mission. POs are responsive to the expressed interests of program stakeholders. So you see that this is what. And formulate set of, again they are discussed, this is what already we discussed much. I think now here in a brief way I have been provided the information about PO, CO, like you see this. Frame curriculum courses and COs, they address the POs and in turn the, but actually the course curriculum has to frame on the basis of what about that POs only generally. But the affiliated colleges, I think for that, I think for them that example is good, how to achieve the goal with respect to the institute vision. So these are the points only, sir. What is responsibilities of a faculty? You see, this is what. Formulate the learning outcomes and finally the course outcomes. Teach the course to enable to the students attain the course outcomes. Examine the students whether the course outcomes have been attained. Improve continually the course outcomes. This is what so I think you are aware of this. Just I'll go through. Outcomes assessment, you see that. How to assess the outcome. There are various components are there. Develop learning objectives. You have to develop and then you try to define outcomes also. Then we have to try to correlate by taking the information from the student or by the stakeholders. Then check for alignment between the curriculum and the objectives. You have to try to make the alignment. Develop assessment plan. You have to make a assessment plan also. You design your plan for assessing of the student as you wish. There is no any unified format as you wish, that is. Collect assessment data. How to collect the data? Various sources are there. If I want to assess the so-and-so, what about the program? What I have to do? There are various methods are there for collecting of the data. I think when you are submitting the proposal for the AICT or DST program, for that they are asking how you are going to collect the data. That is very important component. That is the source of the data. By what about by phone, by mail, by sending a paper, by inviting the people, like you can collect the information, not only to interacting personally. Routinely examine the assessment process and correct it. You see that. Next, so derive from all these things we discussed earlier. So outcome based assessment process, sir. You see this is mission, goals, objectives and outcomes, measurement methods. Various methods are there that we'll discuss. Assessment criteria, result analysis, action. This is the process of this, sir, for measuring and for the improvement of program. We follow as per the OBE sequence. OBE sequence. Okay. OBE advantages for instructors and educational developers, administrators and students. You see that. What are the major advantages of this? Enhance the quality of teaching. At present, we are bothering about that whether we will be sustained or not. So that I think a little bit improvement might be there by introducing this. Otherwise, to ensure the approval and accreditation of new and existing programs, when I want accreditation, then I should follow this. Okay. And I also, once if I am working in accreditation college or maybe accreditation department, I also should get a recognition when I go outside. That is no doubt about it. Now, to ensure the accountability and quality assurance, so there could be some accountability also. Once the higher authority may be changed, then the next person can handle easily the system. Otherwise, it could be difficult to handle the system. That means the vision may be failed. Once if you could not maintain accountability, what the vision next 10 years? Once the management is changing, then what? It will be difficult to sustain. To take responsibility for their own learning, next, like you see that many are there. It's like a tool for evaluating and improving the curriculum. You see that. And to encourage continually between undergraduate, postgraduate and continuing education. You see that. So this is benefits are there with OBE for the instructors, developers, administrators also. Why assessment? Why assessment? Continuous improvement. Means what, sir? Assessment is mainly when I am taking the feedback for what purpose? For the next betterment only. Otherwise, what about? I don't have any goal. So assessment is very important on the basis of this. Total quality management applied in education setting for the purpose of accreditation, internal assessment, external assessment. You can introduce yourself. That is for benefit to get a easy what accreditation. And a competition, because of there is a huge competition is there in the world, so we should assess ourselves, otherwise we could not sustain. So that is what now the tools are there. Industry push, when you want to push them into the industry, then these are the things are required. Learning needs. So this is what's here. So this session will end. Then after, I think, lunch time. Respect to the curriculum. Sorry, with respect to the department. Okay? POs, and how to map it. That mapping mechanism also will be there. I think the lunch will be here only, adjacent to this. Okay? So I think easy to go there. Thank you. We'll join. Lunch ready?